We turn now to Phil Wright, who is also making a run for Utah GOP chair. Phil, great to have you back on the show. Thanks so much for being here.
You bet, Glenn.
Let's start off with some of your background. What have you done that you believe makes you qualified for this position?
Well, I believe I'm the only candidate who's actually had party leadership experience. A few years ago, I was the vice chair and then the chair in the Davis County Republican Party. Then I was the vice chair of the state party. I had the opportunity to be elected as a national delegate in 2016, and then I was elected by the national delegates to be the chair of our national delegation to the RNC convention. So I believe when it comes to leadership, I understand how the party works, I understand how it works on a county level and a state level, and I've had interactions with the RNC as well.
A couple years ago, you ran for this very position. Obviously, you weren't successful that year. So what made you weigh the options and think, yeah, I'm going to give this another run?
Well, running for any office is very difficult. It takes a lot of time, a lot of commitment, and you got to be brave a little bit. I love the Republican Party. You know, I've fought hard for the last 10 years. I've been all over the state. I've spoken to thousands of Republicans, thousands of delegates, promoting our platform, promoting our party. And I felt like unless someone stood up that I felt like had my background, we needed somebody who could lead the party that has a background that I have, and that person didn't stand forward or come forward, so I felt like, well, I need to do this again.
All right, let's get into a really divisive topic in the party over the last couple of years. That is SB 54. You have been a major face in the opposition to SB 54. So if you are elected as chair of the party, what is your stance on SB 54?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked me the question because there's a nasty rumor going around that I'm going to start another lawsuit. Let me tell you right now, that's not going to happen. I appreciate that the Republican Party has done everything it can legally that it committed to do with defending itself against SB 54. But the lawsuit is over. We now have a dual path, so candidates can either choose the caucus convention system, or they can gather signatures, or they can do both. So my objective as chair is to make sure every candidate is treated fairly, that every candidate has the opportunity.
Even one that takes only the signature
Even
path.
if they take the signature path. I think the responsibility we have as a party is we need to make our caucus convention desirable enough that every candidate's going to want to have that opportunity. I'll give you an example. When Mitt Romney announced that he was going to run for the U.S. Senate, he was immediately attacked by our current chair. It was in the newspapers. He was called a carpetbagger and different things. I got a call from Mitt Romney the next day, and I said, I'm not the chairman of the party, but I apologize as a Republican that you were treated that way. Every candidate should be treated fairly. And I said, all I ask of you is that you consider going through the convention process as well. By doing that, you're showing good faith in the thousands of delegates that have been elected by hundreds of thousands of Republicans around the state. And he said, Phil, I have every intention of doing that, and he did. So I would encourage candidates, if they're going to do the signature path, to also go through the caucus convention. It makes them a stronger candidate.
Now, putting this rumor aside, I don't want to get into that, but you have been a very vocal opponent of the signature path. So let's clear up a few things.
Okay.
You have said that even after the Supreme Court ruling that you still believe the law is unconstitutional.
Yes.
And you've called on the legislature to repeal it.
Yes.
So possibly that's what's fueling some of this, you know, what will Phil do if he gets into office?
I've been a strong advocate for the Utah Republican Party for almost 2 decades. I will always be an advocate for the party, for our Constitution, our platform, our bylaws. So in 2018, a lot of people don't know, but the state House actually repealed SB 54, but it didn't make it to the Senate. I would encourage them to finish it, to just repeal it completely. But that will not be my primary focus as the chair of the party.
Okay, so, you know, people in the party do look at this situation, and again, you were one of the big faces in this, and as a divider. So how do you bring...
As a divider?
Well, in that argument, you know, that argument clearly has divided the party. You're a face on that argument for the, you know, the side of anti-54. So how do you bring the party together if you are elected as chair?
The real simple way to bring the party together, it's the way we've always done it, it's to focus on our platform. Because our platform is the value statement that brings us together as Republicans. And when you promote the platform, you do several things. You bring more people into the party because they recognize, wow, those are the things I believe in too. You energize the base and you cultivate good candidates. So by focusing on the things we have in common, it helps us deal with the little ideas that we disagree about.
Okay, about 30 seconds left. I want to get your thoughts on election night, because it wasn't a great night for Republicans. You lost Congressional District 4. In Salt Lake County, really had a bad night for Republicans, and even lost seats in the State House. How do you turn that around?
Promoting the platform. If you don't energize the base, you don't get people to go out and vote. We lost Mia Love's seat by, what, 700 votes?
Yeah, right around 600 to 700.
Utah County had the lowest voter turnout in decades. And I think two reasons for that. I don't think there was enough energy in the base to go out and vote. Plus, because people were standing in line for hours to vote, a lot of people gave up and just went home and didn't vote. So to me, that was an unfortunate anomaly. But anytime we lose races, it's because we haven't rallied the base around the candidates to actually get out and vote.
All right.
And that's the key.
We're going to have to end it on that note. We appreciate your time this morning. We'll be watching to see how this all plays out on Saturday. We'll be right back with more candidate profiles after the break. Stay with us.